Y'all already know that we're finna get speculative this Sunday, considering that we're in for another 7 days of wait before the next chapter. What's going on, everybody? My name is Animasu, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about what I think will happen in bluelock's upcoming chapter 221. And let me tell you, things are hopefully about to get way crazier. Now, as always, if you guys enjoy my content, make sure to check out my community Discord and subscribe to the channel. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and thank you all so much for the support. Also, as always, these are just my own personal opinions and theories, which could or couldn't come true, so just keep that in mind, and let's get into it. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you already know the events of chapter 220, so there's really nothing I need to recap you guys on. Isagi chose the passing option to Yukimiya, which freed Lorenzo up from Kaiser. This let Bastard Munchen's Emperor run free, resulting in him making a mockery of the Uber's defense, with one of the cleanest shots in the entire series. Now, as for what could happen in chapter 221, the place with the most information regarding that is actually back in 218, with Kaiser's verbal abuse of Ness. Kaiser's already frustrated due to the good old Don Lorenzo putting him on lockdown, but it gets even worse when Ness starts to have another mental breakdown. It almost seems like Lorenzo needs to put Ness in timeout instead of lockdown. Now, Ness is already sweating this game without really doing much of anything, and Lorenzo's airtight defense of Kaiser has this man crying like a toddler. This results in Kaiser doing two things that bring me both joy and immense confusion. To start with the confusing part, he begins to lift off into the atmosphere. Yeah, don't question me, ask the author. Now, the main part that brings me joy is Kaiser basically denouncing Ness, telling him straight up the honest truth about his performance. He tells Ness that he is the one who's trash, not Isagi, leaving him with the most defeated look in all of bluelock. I mean, you have to kind of feel bad for him here, with Kaiser going as far as calling his emotions just a blockage in the way of his tiny shit brain. Anyways, the relevance that this holds to chapter 221's events is that Kaiser has truly denounced Ness here, acknowledging him as nothing but a trash can puppet that should do nothing but move as he's asked. This, on top of Ness's constant poor performance this game, could possibly lead to an upcoming substitution, maybe even as soon as the next chapter. The only thing that Kaiser needed Ness to do was free him up of Lorenzo, which he failed to do continuously, even losing possession to Kunigami right after Kaiser's diss track on him. It really makes you wonder what the backstory is behind Kaiser and Ness, which a lot of people have speculated to be shown in 221. Now, me personally, I don't think it's going to be out so soon, because with the chapter's title being Take Me With You, it's probably referring to Ness's possible upcoming substitution, and his perspective and emotions after towards Kaiser. Now, with all of this talk on a Ness substitution, I think the obvious choice of a replacement would be none other than Yo Hiori, the cyan-haired reserve for Bastard Munchen. Being a super talented player who can make calm and accurate passes, there's no question that his involvement in this game would be nothing but beneficial to Bastard Munchen's current situation. A U20 arc Hiori was able to produce passes that were comparable to Itoshi size, a new Generation 11 member and a professional player. With Ness being no use in freeing Kaiser up from Lorenzo, it's possible that Yo Hiori will be the person to solve that problem. Now, the community's been speculating a lot that Hiori will be the key to defeating Lorenzo due to the events of chapter 207. Now, I know that sounds confusing, and you're like, wow, how could they have any connection at all? But just let me explain. With us getting a look at the full backstory of Yo Hiori's depressing past, there's two major factors that contribute to my theory of Hiori's upcoming sub-in. Now, firstly, you don't get a backstory chapter all to yourself unless you're important or becoming important in the story. It's as simple as that. Now, the second factor, and the one that our bluelock community has pointed out, is the parallels between Hiori's past and the future themes. While coping in his room from his parents fighting, Hiori used to play zombie-themed shooting video games. Now, the chapter even went as far as showing his parents as nothing but zombies and corpses themselves, which could be tied into a recently introduced character, Don Lorenzo. With his zombie-like appearance and deathly aura, he's the only character that could have any sort of relevance to this. Now, you may be thinking that it's a bit of a stretch, and while I do slightly agree with you, Lorenzo even has been called a straight-up zombie by other characters. I mean, for God's sake, even his counter was called a long-range zombie one. It's just a little fun thing to think about, but the pieces do start to line up, and I'm just not sure if we're forcing it a bit too hard, or if it was actually intended by the author. I guess we'll find out after Hell Week of no bluelock. Now, obviously, the entire chapter isn't going to be a Ness breakdown with Hiori's sub-in, at least I hope, because a cool thing I was thinking about would fit perfectly for a chapter finisher. With Hiori being told of his upcoming substitution, it's possible that Noah will tell Hiori to be unbiased in his gameplay. This means he won't side with either Kaiser or Isagi, and this decision could come as a result of Ness's failure and poor performance this game. This was a ramification of Isagi and Kaiser's rivalry like I said earlier, so if this did happen, we could possibly see some insane team plays involving Hiori's hyper-accurate passes and Kaiser and Isagi's insane drive to devour one another. That's pretty much all of my thoughts on what could happen in 221, but let's also take a look at some other possible theories that you guys in my comment section have shared with me. Now the homie Raffi here shared 4 total explanations for our chapter title of Take Me With You, but the one that I want to look at here is this 4th and final one. He says that with Kaiser's immense impact and crazy goal in chapter 220, Isagi will feel once again left behind and lacking compared to his rival. This will result in him maybe picking up a weapon, having an evolution, or just any sort of moment that would lead Isagi to wanting to be taken with him to Kaiser's level of play. If my Hiori sub-in theory is wrong, then this one right here is probably the second most likely, due to Isagi always having to monologue after every insane moment. When reading Bluelock, if you see an insane moment that makes you jump up and down, just expect the first 5 pages of the next chapter to be, wow, incredible, how can I reach that level myself, puzzle pieces, I mean please just make him stop rambling. Sorry about that guys. Moving on though, another one of our homies named Wrath brought up the idea that Isagi and Kaiser might finally team up and help one another out. Now the reason that I don't think that this will happen is I personally foresee Bastard Munchen somehow losing to the Ubers. And not only that, but Kaiser and Isagi teaming up would practically guarantee them a win, which the author will most likely be saving for their match against France's PXG. Now for the third and final commenter theory, we have Your Steak 5215, saying that next chapter will probably be a flashback to Ness and Kaiser's first meeting. Now as I said earlier on in this video, I would love to see the backstory behind them, because obviously there's far more than meets the eye. Kaiser having a roughed up looking ball compared to Isagi's in this shot, Ness and him having their weird little dynamic, I mean there's definitely has to be some interesting flashback chapters to be had, just maybe not so soon. I guess now would be a fitting time though, considering 2 out of the 3 new generation members already have some backstory shown, with Kaiser being the only odd one out. He even jokes that Ness could have some sort of separation issues, which isn't really that much of a stretch when you see the way he acts. As I said, I would love to see Ness and Kaiser's depressing past, but give me Yo Hiori. If you hate Ness and want no more panels of him to ever appear, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join the hate train. Also, to provide you guys with some much needed content during the Bluelock drought over this week, I'll have one more video dropping sometime over like Wednesday or Thursday, before my eventual chapter review of 221's official release. Now the video is going to be on Itoshi, Sai, and Kaiser, so make sure to be on the lookout for that absolute beauty. Now this is the end of the video, but if you guys will, go into the comment section and let me know this. What do you think that Hiori will provide in this matchup if he is subbed in? Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.